The screen in front of you is a neon grave, pulsing with a single line of text in a font that looks like it was ripped from a 1990s horror movie. Your heart is a drum in your chest, and the air in the server room tastes like ozone and stale coffee. Behind the glass doors of the intensive care unit, the monitors have gone dark. No heart rates, no oxygen levels, just black glass. You look at your phone. A timer on an encrypted chat app is counting down from 60 minutes. If you don't find the right words, if you don't move the decimal point exactly where they want it, 3 people in those beds will stop breathing before the sun comes up. You're not a doctor and you're not a cop. You're the man they call when the system breaks and the kidnappers are invisible. But that's the middle of the story. Let's go back to the beginning. You start your career at level 1. The Helpdesk first responder. You're a local kid, fresh out of a tech cert program, and you think you've landed the dream job. You wake up at 5 a.m. not to fight crime, but to reset passwords for people who can't remember their mother's maiden name. You sit in a cubicle that smells like industrial carpet cleaner and cheap plastic. You make $45,000 a year, and your biggest power is the ability to unlock a frozen Excel sheet. But then it happens. A frantic call comes in. A small law firm's files have turned into gibberish. You see the red screen for the first time. You're the cheap, disposable early warning system. You report it to your supervisor, and you watch as the real adults in suits take over. You're ignored, a servant in a blue polo shirt, but you're watching. You're learning the sound of a digital door being kicked in. Congratulations, you proved you can stay calm while the world burns. You're now a level 2, incident response analyst. You've traded the cubicle for a standing desk and a $90,000 salary. You don't reset passwords anymore. Now you're a digital forensic detective. When a company gets hit, you're the one who dives into the logs to find the patient zero. You spend 80-hour weeks staring at lines of code that look like randomized nonsense. You see the damage up close, small businesses losing 30 years of work in 30 seconds. The moral compromise starts here. You realize that to find the bad guys, you have to think like them. You start browsing the forums they frequent. You see how they talk. You're an ally of the data, but you're starting to respect the craftsmanship of the lock. You buy a nice watch, but you stop telling your friends what you actually do. I work in IT, you say, because the truth that you spend your nights looking at digital blood splatters makes people uncomfortable. You're good at seeing the what. Now they want you to handle the how much. Welcome to level 3, the insurance liability adjuster. You move from a security firm to a massive global insurance conglomerate. You're an executive now. You have a corner office, and your salary hits the mid-6 figures. You don't look at code anymore. You look at line-item spreadsheets. When a hospital or a city gets locked down, you're the one who decides what their survival is worth. You have the power to say yes to a $5 million payout, or no and let the company go bankrupt. You're a manager of ruin. The risk is clinical. If you pay too much, the board of directors breathes down your neck. If you pay too little, people lose their jobs. You start to see human lives as operating expenses. You're no longer a person. You're an insulation layer between the victim and the loss. You've traded your empathy for a 401k match and a company car that stays in a heated garage. You're tired of the red tape. You want the real game. You're now a level 4, the boutique crisis fixer. You quit the insurance giant. You realize that why should you pay them a fee when you're the one doing the work? You set up your own shop. You don't have an office. You have a booth at the back of a 24-hour diner and a cheap plastic burner phone. You're an independent contractor for the desperate. You're the one who gets the call at 3 a.m. because a billionaire's private data has been disappeared and the feds can't know. You're a magician now. You take a $50,000 signing bonus just to pick up the phone. You use voice scramblers and Tor to bounce your signal from France to Brazil to Japan. The moral weight is a heavy physical thing. You're paying criminals. You're fueling the very fire you're supposed to be putting out. But the adrenaline is even better than the bonus. You're a ghost, moving cash through shell companies in Wyoming and real estate trusts in Panama. The big players have noticed you. You're being recruited for Level 5, Private Intelligence Liaison. You're not just a fixer anymore. You're an asset for a shadowy firm that doesn't have a website. You represent the ultra-rich, the people with 100 million plus who wake up in estates with staff. Your salary is a joke. The real money is in the success fees that arrive in thick envelopes. You have a go bag under your bed with 500,000 and 6 different passports. Your job is to negotiate with the heads of the great families of the digital underworld. You don't talk about right and wrong, you talk about slots and windows. You're the HR department for a crew of killers who use keyboards instead of rifles. The psychological cost is total. You're paranoid about being paranoid. You check your car for GPS trackers every morning. You've realized that a friend is a weakness someone can lean on. You have associates, but you don't talk about sports. You talk about who disappeared. You've reached the inner circle. Level 6, the dark web arbitrator. You are the deputy headquarters chief of the digital war. You don't just negotiate ransoms, you manage the marketplaces of trust. When two criminal syndicates have a beef over a victim, you're the arbiter whose word is law. You sit in quiet tea houses or encrypted VR chat rooms and tell the kingpins to join us or disappear. You have total power over the logistics of fear. You make millions, but you never touch a single dollar bill. You've become an expert in trade-based laundering, overpaying for avocados that are never shipped just to move the ransom money into a legitimate casino in Macau. You look at the map of the digital country and divide it up like a cake. You're a public-facing warlord in the shadows. You're powerful, but you have no peace. The stakes have gone geopolitical. You're now Level 7, the state-level ghost negotiator. You've been moved to a different column on someone else's spreadsheet. You answer to one man only, a director in an agency whose name is a 3-letter acronym. Your job is to handle the ransoms that don't exist for people that don't have names. You're negotiating for critical national infrastructure. You're moving billions through crypto exchanges to stop a rival nation from turning off the power grid. You are the insulation that keeps the boss out of jail. You're living in a penthouse with high walls and security cameras, but you're a prisoner in your own kingdom. You've seen things that would keep you up for years. You've exchanged your soul for a script. You realize you're not a negotiator anymore. You're a toll for the throne. Finally, you reach the top of the ladder, Level 8, the architect of choice. You are the front man of the entire system. You're the one who built the idea. You don't negotiate for victims anymore. You manage the highest level relationships between the hunters and the hunted. You sit in a glass office and watch the simulations of human greed and fear. You have total power, but you realized the host chose you because you could watch people die and keep the schedule moving. You have billions, but you can't walk to the park or go to the grocery store. You're the magician performing one last disappearing act for yourself. You look at the locked door and the bed neatly made in your high-security compound. You thought you were making a choice, but you were just a number for the cartel. You've spent your whole life saving the system, only to realize that you've become an animal inside it. Reaching the top wasn't freedom. It was just the most expensive cage in the world. If you want to see more breakdowns of the hidden hierarchies and dangerous systems that run our world, from the inner circles of the mafia to the dark web kingpins, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're exposing the vision, one rank at a time. Thanks for watching.